McKinney Women explores family,
chosen family.
We are a found family. We love each other.
Life and queerness in the 1990s, but especially the opportunity for humans to grow and change throughout life. I think the first time we read it was one of my favorite moments. Just seeing those lines come off the page. Students to just come in and they kill it and they amaze me. You all do that every day anyway, so I don't know why this would be any different.
I had no idea what to expect. This is my first time working on a new work like this. As we go along, we are getting better as performers. I think the best part has been seeing the little, very specific things that need to be a certain way for the story, because we've never seen this play done before. It's only been played in Kaylee's mind. So it's great having her on the sidelines. She is our biggest cheerleader.
My name is Kaylee Marshall. My pronouns are she, her, and I am the composer, lyricist, and librettist of A Long Line of McKinney Women.
I'm super excited about Kaylee being here. I met Kaylee through doing Fresh Voices. It was through working to get some new composers to work with our students during the fall of 2020 in the height of the pandemic. Kaylee just felt like a really good fit for us. It was just sort of like, it would be really great if we would just commission a new work for our students.
This all came about in a couple of different ways. I was at a family wedding and my great uncle gave a toast about the long line of Elliott women who had led up to that certain moment. And I thought that was a really beautiful idea of this long line of ancestors behind us who can influence the things that we do in our lives. So that was a big part of why I wanted to write this show.
This story is quite challenging because it deals with a lot of loss and grief and guilt, and just kind of the harder things that we have to deal with as people, especially people with ongoing mental health issues. I'm Leah Ramos, and I play Alex McKinney in A Long Line of McKinney Women. Alex is a queer woman living in Chicago. She's at the point in her life where she feels like she should have some things figured out. She lives with Shaw, her roommate, who is a non-binary character.
I'm Benjamin Mitnick, and I'm playing Shaw in McKinney Women. So Shaw is very loud, very confident, unashamed in their identity, very gender fluid. So I myself am non-binary. I'm still very early in my exploration of my gender identity, somewhere in the trans-femme spectrum. Very exciting, very scary. Shaw is very, very loud and always saying something, always being a little bit of peanut gallery. And I think in the story of McKinney Women, it's so central to Shaw that she knows that Alex is there, always.
Alex kind of closes the door on moms. Shaw has a line where we closed the door on moms for a while, so that's something that Alex and Shaw bond over, is having that tougher relationship with their maternal people in their life. The inciting incident is that she basically drinks herself to death. She passes out on Randolph Street, Chicago in January and gets frostbite on her toes. And what causes such an emotional reaction from her is she has a falling out with her mother, and they haven't had contact for 2 years. And the show just kind of details her life after a near-death experience that she has and is brought back from by other women in her line.
What I love about new work is that you really get a chance to let other artists inform the story. I'm so excited that we're doing it with students, because I think that when you bring students into a new musical, they really get a shot to try their hand at something that maybe they've never done before, and they kind of get to put their own stamp on a character, which usually doesn't happen in school settings. I think that students bring a really, really fresh perspective to new works. So it's been exciting to watch the students kind of run with it and get excited about it.
Working with Kaylee has been a great experience. I feel spoiled because I'm just texting the creator and I get all of my questions answered within 15 minutes.
I think in general the process is just unique because we're getting to work on a new work. Students are getting revisions and things are changing as we go, and having to make adaptations to what we need for it to work and what Kaylee needs for it to work. And so I think that's probably the most unique part of it.
So some core memories are crying on a plane when I had a memory or an experience with someone that I wanted to bring into this show. Those are big core memories, but I think the biggest one is actually when I sent the script to my chosen family, who are 3 of my best friends who I'm dedicating the show to. And I was really, really scared to send it to anybody. No one had seen it. And they took me to dinner and were like, this is really good. And I think that was the moment where I was like, okay, for the people I wrote this for, they like it, and that's all that matters.
I do have to say that my core memory from the show has been what it was like to lose someone in my family. When we came back, I lost my maternal grandmother very, very suddenly out of nowhere and went home to be with my family and get back in touch with those emotions. And so it's been very cathartic to work on a show like this that deals with grand themes of life and death and letting the people in your life know that you love them.
There's a line in the show that says, "The blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. You learn, you live it." And the typical quote is, "Blood is thicker than water," when actually the real quote says the exact opposite, that the people that we choose in our life to make covenants with or relationships with, that those are going to be stronger bonds than the ones that we were given at our birth.
I think the line that comes out a lot to me is, "You're my emergency contact." And I think that's a really powerful line because, especially for queer people whose families maybe don't accept their lifestyle, I think a big thing is choosing who is going to be your emergency contact.
A lot of times we can look at things in our lives and say, oh, this is perfect, this does not need to change, when there needs to be a change. Our lovely director, Talia Block, has been very kind, and some of the subject matter of the show is very, very hard to get through, and our director has been very kind in letting us do them and then giving us time to recuperate. And I definitely think that that's also a big part of what family is anticipating the needs of other people even if they aren't strong enough to say them.
The main vision came in when I was watching a TV show that blends comedy and extreme drama in the same scenes, which is what Making Women does. We spend a lot of time laughing, so much laughter. We cry a lot too, because it's one of those pieces that is meant to be funny but has really hard-hitting themes, so that gets to us as humans in the room and actors and directors, and that's been really good too.
I think that the biggest piece is that confidence. I've been playing around with a lot of stuff. The biggest thing was our fabulous costume designer, Rebecca. She got me a pair of heels, and I've never worn heels before. And they are just these super, super chunky boots, but just walking and being like, I need to channel all of my favorite drag queens into this walk. And getting to play around has just lifted almost like a weight off of my shoulders with the character.
My favorite part of this process has just been how caring we are with each other.
I also just love the collaborative spirit that we've gained through this, and it started really with Kaylee.
I want shows to be conversations for people to have. They shouldn't walk away from my show being like, I know I was supposed to learn this. It should be, gosh, I want to have a discussion about this.
This musical says that family is important, but family can look like a whole bunch of different things. It can look like friends, it can look like a more romantic relationship, it can look like a mother and a daughter, it can look like ancestors from our past, it can look like whatever we want it to be.
Yeah, I think the idea of chosen family is something that's very important to my heart and my experience, and I wanted to explore that in a show.